Hello and welcome to the Austrian Grand Prix. Now pay attention to this. I've got a maxed out principal driver level 7. Do not start this event with a new car unless you're willing to part with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of gold. Because the later the Grand Prix is in the season, the more expensive it is. They do this every year but the first year. The PR ratings are lower at the beginning and higher at the end. So the most expensive one is going to be this one. I'm warning you right off the start, because even with what I've got here, I almost need to max out this tuning by the time this is all going to be done. So if you're doing this with a brand new car, you're going to be in a horrible position, because you'll have to max out your principal, max out your tuning, and then you're going to have to pay a bunch of M dollars or gold to skip ahead in a driver level, because it won't be enough. So you do not start this with a new car. Start it with a car you've done one Grand Prix with, or with me, I've already done 2. Now you might say, well, you're wasting your driver XP. Yeah, that's because I don't care. I am not going to be getting any more 2021 cars. Well, okay, I'm going to get one when I finish this, but I'm not going to spend any more gold on any more principals. It's just, to me, it's pointless, because this is already one of the best cars. Mercedes and the Red Bull kind of win everything. So that's just my opinion on it. So I'm going to make this into a gold positive event. All right, so first couple of races here are easy. The last race in stage 1, if you're watching this might be why, it is an extremely, exceptionally over-the-top, frustrating race. So I'd almost recommend you get some practice during this one, because you got to stay behind this guy for a long time. So practice being hooked up in the draft without hitting him. That's important, because when you hit the car, he tries to lose you, and that's going to make it very difficult for you in the race number 3 of stage 1, where you have to be within someone's continuous draft for a specified distance, and it's a long distance. Don't get me wrong, it's not a whole lap, but you got to make it through a corner or two. And that's really hard to stay hooked up in the draft through some of the corners. Mind you, I just kind of did it. Well, no, I'm braking here and there. So you can see that because I'm smashing this guy, of course, I'm losing the draft. But this one isn't about drafting. This is about just being within distance X of the car for 75 seconds. If you watch, once in a while, my speed turns white, which means I'm not drafting, but my timer keeps going. So you could actually be fully beside this car and like a little bit behind, and it would keep counting. So for the most part, this isn't a very hard Grand Prix, but there's a couple of things going on that make it a difficult one. And I'd say the next race after this is probably one of the most difficult races of the whole Grand Prix, to be honest with you. They've made these events way easier than they used to be. Like I was doing Motor Fiesta 2 the other day in my fully upgraded Pagani Huayra, and gosh, I mean, those are the days when if you went off track for a fraction of a second, you failed. There was no mercy. There's so many people who complained about stuff like that, so they had to make things substantially easier for all the people who complain so much. It's actually made it a lot more boring in some respects, but here you go. This is the one that's crazy frustrating. At first I tried getting way up to the front to do this with a faster car. That didn't really work for me. I actually found it easier to just stay back here with a slower car. And the measurement they give you, they say it's in meters, or they also give you the yards. It's neither. The actual unit of measurement, I found this out just by doing some research, and they have no idea how this happened. It works out to the Roman cubit. You've heard me say this before probably. Yes, a Roman cubit. What's that? 44.444 centimeters or 17.48 inches. In ancient times, it was the measurement from your elbow to, I think it's the closed fist. But it used to work when all humans were the same size. Like, it used to be that if you were Egyptian, you're about the same size as every other Egyptian. Or you hear about cubits a lot in the Old Testament Bible. So there was a very common unit of measurement. Different cultures had a different distance of cubit, but it worked as a unit of measurement within your own culture. Anyhow, what's actually happening is for every meter you travel, you're getting credited 2.5. Okay, enough about that. Right after this corner, this is now the best place to try to get your drafting in. because the next two corners aren't that sharp, and then you've got even less sharp corner after that. So there I kind of blew it, but you're going to watch here. You got to try to don't get too close or he tries to lose you. Like, that's a bit close, but I managed to keep it. And the second you're done your drafting, the race is over, which will happen right away. And that was nowhere near the required distance. But there we go. So pretty easy. Well, other than that race, I retried that one so many times. Okay, here's some other links you might find interesting. After I create the playlist link, you will also find that here. So please like, please subscribe, and see you again.